What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Pghchris show here on Pghchris TV. I am Pghchris. Today, we got a couple things to talk about. Wow. Joey Porter Jr. Or Senior, catching strays, and it is now a war, especially in the Pittsburgh Steelers community. Who's right? Who's wrong? Whose side do you take? Who do you agree with? Who do you disagree with? We're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about T.K.O, the company that now owns WWE and UFC as the merger. We know they're super greedy and we know how they get down, but what I've been hearing and the new news and reports that has came out in the last couple of days is just mind-blowing to me. Well, actually, I saw this on the 9th, and I want to talk to you guys about that. We got a couple things I got to talk to you guys about today, but first, if you guys are not already following, please make sure to follow. If you guys are watching me here on X, if you're watching on YouTube, Twitter, YouTube, Kick, Twitch, Rumble, please go hit that follow button. YouTube, hit that subscribe button. We're growing the YouTube channel pretty quickly. Started uploading consistently on around December, and you guys have been picking up the support pretty quick here on the show, and I appreciate it. We got more things coming here. This is all about just once a week coming on here. If Steelers news happens throughout the week, that's different, but for this show, Wednesdays at 5 o'clock, I want to just throw what's been going on in the last week, the last couple days, Monday through Wednesday, whatever it is that I haven't talked to you guys on my own. So that's what we're gonna do here today. But first off, like always, PGHChris TV. I want to thank our affiliate, our sponsor for the show, G Fuel Energy, and let's hear a word from our guys over at G Fuel. All right, quick timeout in today's video. I want to talk to you guys about our sponsor, G Fuel Energy. If you're anything like me, you're locked in for late nights, breaking down games, watching wrestling, gaming, or just grinding content and coffee isn't cutting it anymore, this is where G Fuel comes in. No sugar, no crash, just clean energy that keeps you focused on pregame all the way through overtime. Whether I'm live, recording, or locked in the slate of games, G Fuel keeps me going. They've got a ridiculous lineups of flavors, collaborations, and a whole other group of well-known content creators a part of the movement. So you're definitely going to find one that hits. This is legit energy for Pghchris when you check out. It saves you money and supports the channel, which you guys know I appreciate more than ever. Again, that's G Fuel Energy /PGHChris, or use my promo code PGHChris for 20% off checkout. Now, let's get back into the video. All right. So we already know how greedy T.K.O is, and we know how, when it comes to ticket prices, the outrageous WrestleMania prices, we know that that's taking place and it's nothing new. But I know they used to do this with other sports. Maybe I'm just young enough to not have experienced anything like this, but I'm hearing now that apparently, and this was reported by Fightful Select, apparently WWE is distributing the premium live event to have a blackout, which means if you are in an establishment, a casino, a bar, one of those pool parties, rooftops, or whatever, that cool little fucking, what's that place in Las Vegas that like you watch it 3D? I see a bunch of football games there. People watch the football games where it's like it looks like they're coming in your face. Whoa, pause. Whoa, 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 whoa. Time out. Time out. Hey, yo. Let me rephrase that. That arena where it looks like 3D, and when people it looks like they're running at you, and it looks like the ball's gonna fly, like it looks cool. Pause again. One more siren for the pause, because that was a yo moment. You guys know what I mean. But hey, I caught myself here. So that's all that matters. But listen, if you are, so again, 50-mile radius, if you're in those one of those places, apparently you are not there, you're being prohibited to show the event. This goes for even if you want to pay the license fee to show WrestleMania, you are not allowed to do that, and multiple Las Vegas venues have been informed. Again, that initial report was from Fightful Select, but Dave Meltzer on the Wrestling Observer Radio reported that WrestleMania 32 has only sold 36,000 tickets per night with 2 nights to go. That about 18% lower than WrestleMania 41 at the same point last year. It is believed that fans are choosing watch parties over stadium due to high ticket costs. Well, no fucking shit. People are going to choose Bully Ray's Sausage Fest party like me and my partner Kev, Sports Jedi Network, like to always clown is, but one day WrestleMania tickets for this year start at $270 for the worst seats in the house, while 2 day passes, kind of go between $650 and $750, and premium packages climb into the five-figure territory. So the blackout would choose people to either go to the watch parties, and they're forcing tourists to choose between going to those people. Now what they're doing is they're making people choose between watching the fucking show on your TV screen in a hotel room on your phone, whatever, or you're gonna have to pay another ticket to go to the night 2 event. That's all according to the Wrestling Observer and Fightful. Let me give you guys my opinions on this. TKO is I people didn't want to believe me when I said, when the TKO merger first happened, and that they said WWE is going to be owned by TKO, UFC, all this. Everybody was trying to tell me, whether it was Facebook, whether it was the old podcasting crew that I was a part of back then, whether it was Discord servers that I was chatting in, no matter what it was, people were, WWE needs to grow. Vince McMahon, all this shit that happened with Vince McMahon. I mean, he can't be in charge of WWE anymore. They have to sell. It's going to make the product so much better. Yeah, financially. I told you guys from day fucking one that this was going to be a money grab. And I was right. That's all TKO has been doing since taking over WWE. Money, 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 money. They're like a bunch of fucking Mr. Krabs. All they want is their money, 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 money. You're going to tell me that if I fly out to WrestleMania for, let's say I go there on a Friday and I want to go to SmackDown, I'm already paying a fucking ticket for SmackDown and night 1. I have to fly back home to watch night 2. I have to watch night 2 in my fucking hotel room by myself, bored. Seriously? What the fuck does it matter if little Jimmy wants to go watch the show? If I want, you guys know, you know what? Fuck little Jimmy. I'm going to use me as an example. I'll use myself as an example because I don't gamble, but I sports bet here and there. You guys know I do my series Moneyline Mondays on Twitter. I can't even go to the fucking sports casino and sportsbook casino or none of that and watch WrestleMania. I don't know if gambling on WWE is legal in Nevada. I highly doubt it. But like, you can't even like make a fun night without even going to the show anymore. Like, for what? What? Why? I don't understand it. It's because they want people to go to the show. They don't want people to go to the bar right down the street, 50 miles down the road. 50 miles is quite a lot, by the way. If you are doing a radius scale, it, it should not be 50 miles. It should like be 20. If you're like, dude, this is where I appreciate AEW, because I didn't go to AEW Dynasty last year when they were in Philadelphia. I didn't. It's not that I couldn't afford it. I didn't want to go to the Lusaurus Center. The fucking parking's terrible. The building sucks, and it's on a college campus. What I did was I have a friend that goes to Temple because that's where they have their shows, and I watched it outside, literally a bar right outside the fucking arena, right outside the venue that the AEW Dynasty was at. Literally a block over. People were watching the watch parties. Good times. Look, I, nobody wants to pay $14 for a fucking bottle of water. Nobody wants to pay $20 for a can of beer. I rather much get a six-pack and watch it in my fucking room. And that's what people want to do. They're already spending a shit ton of money not just going to Vegas, paying for their flights. WrestleMania alone, again, according to this report, the cheapest fucking ticket is $270 for the one night, for night one of WrestleMania. And it's literally all the way up in the fucking, I mean, you might as well go to space. You might as well watch it at home. If TKO made these ticket prices normal, like, you know how packed WrestleMania used to be in like 2000, like the 2010s? I don't understand why all of a sudden TKO they're just making it hard for fans to want to watch it. If I'm being honest, that's what they're doing. They're making the product insanely hard for people to watch. All with all the streaming services, you got fucking Monday Night Raw on Netflix, you got SmackDown on the USA Network, you have the PLEs on ESPN Unlimited. They're not even on fucking ESPN Plus. They made a whole new streaming service, $39 a month. And they're trying to crack down on my fucking VPN. That's not happening. You're not taking my VPN. You gotta get Peacock to watch Saturday night's main event after people canceled it, after they took away the PLEs, all to watch John Cena's last match. And now this. They're fucking up the last WrestleMania experience before they go to Saudi Arabia. Look, I don't go to WrestleMania weekend. I went to WrestleMania weekend night one, or the Friday before WrestleMania 40, because they were in Philadelphia. I went on the train. I went to Philadelphia for literally like 5 hours, and I went back. It's not my thing. But if it is your thing, if you are the Fightfuls of the world, if you are the fucking Busted Opens, I could understand why this might upset you, or might, because there's multiple reasons, not just because the people, I'll get into both types of people. You're going to get the two types of people that are going to this WrestleMania, especially this year. You're getting the media, the people that do what we do, the Sean Ross Sapps, the Busted Opens. Again, everybody I just mentioned in the last, 5 seconds. They're obviously going down there to cover it. And they're probably feeling like, okay, Busted Open Bully Ray likes to do his rooftop party. Busted Open likes to do their little gathering wherever at the Palms. During the shows, after the shows, Busted, like, it takes away experiences with, if you're fans of Dave LaGreca and Busted Open, which they do good work. I do have Sirius XM, and I would say Pro Wrestling Nation 24/7 is 90% of 85% of the reason why I still keep my subscription. So, of course, I feel for them. I feel for the people that do go to that shit, because they're missing out. They're missing out on their fans, getting to meet their fans. The fans are getting out to meeting to miss people that they like to listen to every day. It is unfortunate. Then you have the regular civilians, the regular people who or just going to WrestleMania. Maybe they want to take their family. Maybe this is, you know, if you're a single dude and you want to take yourself out on a vacation for once in your life, this is probably the one day a year that you're going to do it. But maybe you don't want to go to the WrestleMania night too. Maybe you don't want to go to all the other shit that WWE has to provide for you. Not just because it's expensive as fuck, but it is a big reason that you like other pro wrestling. What if TNA does a show at the Palms the Friday? What if you want to go to the Hall of Fame? What if you want to go to the SmackDown? Like there's so much other stuff going on, even WWE related, outside the 2 nights of WrestleMania. That's why I think it hurts. Again, it hurts the WrestleMania experience by TKO blacking out fucking sports. You're going to black out sports casinos from watching the biggest pro wrestling event of the year. That is ridiculous, ladies and gentlemen. And if you're going to Las Vegas, I hope you have a good time. Please, and I'm not being sarcastic, make this the best time you can, because guess what? Next year, they're going to be in fucking Saudi Arabia. It's not even, you guys aren't going to experience none of that. None of you guys are going to be flying out there. Us as podcasters, as content creators, aren't going to get to experience the live covering and interviews that you guys like to do. We saw the Royal Rumble and it was fucking boring. The vibe was boring. WrestleMania this year doesn't even feel like WrestleMania. WrestleMania in Vegas was terrible last year. And ladies and gentlemen, WrestleMania next year in Saudi is going to be fucking worse. I'm not ready for it. Neither should you. But hey, we're going to be there. I'm going to be there on the Sports Jedi Network covering it with Kev, giving our honest, fair criticisms and takes. It's ridiculous. They've gone down a whole nother fucking level of greed. It's not even, you guys aren't going to experience none of it. I don't see why they're doing it. I just don't see why they're doing it, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get into the real topic. Let's get into the real story on what you guys came here for, the main title of this video. But before we get into that, let's hear again from our friends at G Fuel Energy. Use code PGHChris and save yourself 20% off. All right, quick timeout in today's video. I want to talk to you guys about our sponsor, G Fuel Energy. If you're anything like me, you're locked in for late nights, breaking down games, watching wrestling, gaming, or just grinding content and coffee isn't cutting it anymore, this is where G Fuel comes in. No sugar, no crash, just clean energy that keeps you focused on pregame all the way through overtime. Whether I'm live, recording, or locked in the slate of games, G Fuel keeps me going. They've got a ridiculous lineups of flavors, collaborations, and a whole other group of well-known content creators a part of the movement. So you're definitely going to find one that hits. This is legit energy for creators, gamers, and sports fans who don't slow down. Use promo code PGHchris when you check out. It saves you money and supports the channel, which you guys know I appreciate more than ever. Again, that's G Fuel Energy /PGHchris, or use my promo code PGHchris for 20% off checkout. Now, let's get back into the video. I had to put my Steelers hat on for this one, ladies and gentlemen. You already know what's going on here. You already know what we're going to talk about. And somehow you guys already heard a preview, right? All right. Let's get into business. Again, thank you to G Fuel, the official sponsor of PGHChrisTV. I'm at the gym today, doing my cardio, running around on the elliptical, lifting. I get off work, and I see a clip. On Twitter, and I stop everything I'm doing, and I pay attention, and it just shocked the living shit out of me, ladies and gentlemen. If you're wondering what clip I'm talking about, watch it. Watch it for yourself.
Then Seven definitely broke the brotherhood because, like,
that's the one I don't understand
the
as
shit
much.
that Seven did that we don't talk about.
I know.
is crazy. Like out of anybody should talk, he should never grab a microphone and really talk Steeler business. Yeah. Because if we talking Steeler business, his ass is foul of all foul. Like the shit that he's did is foul of all foul. He's not a good teammate. Won a Super Bowl with him, but the person, he's just not a good teammate. Like he knows that. Anybody in the Steeler building knows that, but we protected him.
That was my exact reaction when I saw that video earlier today. And that's not even, I'm scrolling, and what do I see right after I see that video? I see a comment from Mike Mitchell, who has shouted me out, given me love on Instagram. Shout out to Mike Mitchell. Mike Adams and Mason Rudolph. That is the guy, that is the comment that I want to talk about, is Mason Rudolph. Whose side am I on? Joey Porter Jr., Big Ben. Why am I bringing up Mason Rudolph? I'm going to tell you exactly why I'm bringing up Mason Rudolph. Now, before I get into Mason Rudolph, let's talk about Joey Porter's original comment, because I don't want to go too far ahead. So Joey Porter says he wasn't a good teammate. He wasn't broke the brotherhood. Should not talk about Steelers business. Hasn't, what did he say again? Should we replay that so we have a better understanding? We all have a better accuracy on what he said. Let's hear one key thing.
That's the one I don't understand as much.
The shit that Seven did that we don't talk about.
I know.
is crazy. Like out of anybody should talk, he should never grab a microphone and really talk Steeler business.
Stop. Put me back on the fucking screen. You're gonna tell me, although, look, I'm going to get into why I think they're both correct. If you're gonna ask me right off the jump, whose side am I on? I think they both make points. I think they both are right. I would lean a little bit more with Joey, but I think he's wrong in some of the things that he says. That he said in this. First off, he broke the brotherhood. Sir, with all due respect, your boy Debo, James Harrison, broke the brotherhood before Big Ben did. And I will say that with my fucking chest.
All right, quick time out on today's video. I want to talk to you guys about our sponsor,
James Harrison
G
has
Fuel
to say.
Energy. If you're anything like me,
Because
you're locked in for late nights, breaking down games, watching wrestling, gaming, or just grinding content and coffee.
Isn't like a big, football icon. I don't want, like, I don't know how I should say that. Like, James Harrison, I think, isn't like, he wasn't, when you think of Steelers football, you just don't think of James Harrison. It's not it. You think of Big Ben, especially in my era. I do think that. I truly believe that. Let me tell you something about why I think Joey Porter is coming at Ben Roethlisberger. First off, that's what I wanted to say. Joey Porter saying that Big Ben has no right to talk about Steelers football. Big Ben's a two-time Super Bowl fucking champion. Won one with two different coaches. And I'm going to get into that. Let's get into that right now, because this all has to do with Mike Tomlin. Joey Porter's comments, and first off, he put Cam Hayward on the spot. I mean, put Cam Hayward on the spot by saying that on his show while he is an active Pittsburgh Steeler, knowing, his relationship with Big Ben, what he means to the team. I think it was a little bit uncomfortable and unfair for Porter to put that on Cam's platform. If you wanted to go say that on someone else's, that's fine. Debo, your boy James Harrison would have been the best one because he broke the brotherhood first. Now, this is where I'm on Big Ben's side. He says, okay, on his show, I don't think he never really came at Mike Tomlin to the point where it's like, okay, Mike Tomlin was the worst. No, all he's simply saying is it's ran its course and it's time to go in a different direction. Now, I'm going to get into the good and the bad. The good on why I think Ben Roethlisberger, could come in this situation. Ultimately, again, it's a little bit of a mess, but just try to stay with me. I think that Joey Porter Jr. has some type of animosity, or he had his feelings hurt when Ben Roethlisberger goes on his podcast, on his show, and talks openly about how the Steelers should move on from Mike Tomlin, or the Steelers should, move on. It ran its course. He hasn't won a playoff game in 10 years. Mind you, Ben Roethlisberger, to me, has the right to give his opinion about Mike Tomlin. Not just because he won a Super Bowl with him. He won a Super Bowl with Bill Cowher. Are we forgetting who drafted Ben Roethlisberger? It wasn't Mike Tomlin. It wasn't Mike Tomlin. Super Bowl XL. Steelers. Ben Roethlisberger. Bill Cowher. Roethlisberger did it again with Tomlin. So I go back to what Joey Porter's original comments were, where he says he should never talk about Steelers ball, Steelers business. Motherfucker, he is Steelers business. That's where I disagree with Joey. 2 Super Bowls under 2 different head coaches. He has the right to criticize Tomlin. All because that you have a personal relationship with Tomlin. All because Tomlin drafted your boy. Joey, are you forgetting what happened in 2019? After the 2018 season? Where Mike Tomlin decided not to renew your contract as the outside linebackers coach for the Steelers? Mind you, Joey Porter Sr. was a big part of that linebacker coaching crew for 5 fucking years. 5 years. And Mike Tomlin said, I'm not renewing your contract. Now, could they have still remained in touch? Was the firing something that Tomlin didn't want to do but had to? Who knows? But they obviously maintained a professional relationship. But that's more recent. Let's take it back to 2007. Where during Joey Porter's playing time, he got released by the team in 2007 because of salary cap. When Mike Tomlin took over as the head coach. And I clicked the wrong fucking button. Sorry. I mean, I actually respect Joey Porter for keeping that professional, maintained relationship with Mike Tomlin and not having personal animosity. Because I'm going to tell you right now, you cut me from your team, I help you win a Super Bowl, and I'm on your coaching staff for 5 years and you let me go, I would feel some type of way. So I actually give Joey Porter Sr. a lot of props. But still doesn't give him the right to say that Big Ben shouldn't talk about Steelers ball. Because, again, 2 Super Bowls, 2 different head coaches, and he really is Steelers football. Now, This is my problem with Big Ben. This has been my problem with Big Ben. I have an issue with this. And I had an issue with this when this happened. This goes back to Mason Rudolph. Remember how I wanted to put a pin on that? Remember how I said wait? This is why. When Mason Rudolph got drafted to the Steelers, it was around the time that Big Ben's career was winding down. And instead of Big Ben being the guy to be like, look, I won 2 Super Bowls for this franchise. I've done what I did. I did what I did. Done what I could. It's time for me to step out, retire, and try to help out the next generation of Pittsburgh Steelers on my way out. He did not do that. Instead, he was a jealous old bastard who couldn't handle and couldn't accept the reality that his time, not just in the Pittsburgh Steelers organization, but his time playing football was over. And I get it. It's never easy to walk away from the game you love. It's never easy to walk away from something that you've been doing your whole life at the highest level. I completely understand that. But you can't play football forever. You can't do anything forever. At some point, you do retire. And it was time, especially, football. I'm not going to get into that. Obviously, we know it's a very physical game. I don't need to go through that with you guys. You guys know that. But my thing is this. He could not handle that reality. So to me, he was so bitter and just they can figure it out. They don't want me, they can figure it out. I think if Big Ben helps Mason Rudolph and even, encourages him a little bit, because by that comment that Mason Rudolph tells me, that just confirmed what I thought happened years ago when Big Ben stepped away. When Kenny Pickett got drafted to Pittsburgh, I mean, holy shit, did Big Ben go on a fucking Taylor Swift era tour on how much he was just did not want this kid to succeed. Pittsburgh college kid who was in that facility for 4 years, knew that building in and out. You've probably have seen him the last couple of years of your career and you just root against him completely. Look, did I want Kenny Pickett in Pittsburgh? No. But I mean, he was a Pitt kid who knew the Steelers. I'm not going to say he knew the Steelers way. He grew up an Eagles fan. But when you're in that facility, the Pitt Panthers college team and the Pittsburgh Steelers share the same fucking facility. So they know the Steelers way. They know what everything, what comes with it in Pittsburgh. By just them playing they play in the same fucking stadium, for crying out loud. He knew the Pittsburgh Steelers way. Big Ben just rooted against him. Did I root against him? I didn't root against him. I just didn't root for him because I knew he wasn't going to get us anywhere. I knew he wasn't going to get us a playoff win. So I can understand, I'm a fan. But when you're talking about a Steelers legend quarterback in Big Ben, I still think he should have, in the wrestling world, as they say, put him over. And he did not do that. Look at Aaron Rodgers when Aaron Rodgers comes into Pittsburgh. He's automatically this well-respected guy. And not just because he's Aaron Rodgers, because, you could be the best or whatever, the best of the best, whatever, and, still not have that respect. You look at it this season, Aaron Rodgers comes into Pittsburgh being who he is. What is one of the first thing that he says in the press conference? Well, I want Will, and I'm rooting for Will. I think he has a lot of talent. He's a good kid. I think Mason's a hell of a backup. I want to get to work with these guys. It showed throughout the season because when Mason Rudolph came in, he looked more confident than I've ever seen him in a Pittsburgh Steelers uniform. Obviously, we didn't get to see Will Howard, but I think people were so high up on Will Howard, because Aaron Rodgers was telling us that he saw something in the kid We wanted to see him on the preseason. We wanted to see him at least one game. Hey, what can this kid do? Unfortunately, he had a finger injury on his throwing hand during training camp, which set him back. We can get into that a whole nother day because I hope that's not another Roman Wilson situation we have here. Again, well, I'll maybe make a video about that, a short little video about that on the PGHChrisTV YouTube channel that you guys can go watch. But my point is, Aaron Rodgers came in and gave these young guys the respect and the not, hey, I'm this guy, I am who I am. You guys are gonna listen to me, respect me. No, he earned it. And I think it shows because that last game where Aaron Rodgers won or he tied Brett Favre's record or whatever, who were the first two people to go to Aaron Rodgers and it was Will Howard and Mason Rudolph. You see all the pictures those guys take together after the games? When we won the NFC Championship or the NFC North Championship against the Ravens. Look, I'm going to make a video the next couple of days talking about if I want Rodgers there or back. But overall, to conclude this, episode of the PGHChris show, it's unfortunate that these Steelers legends are going at it. I mean, more people are kind of starting to say something. I know I mentioned Mason Rudolph, but look at this. These are two more players that I told you, that I didn't mention earlier. I think we know that Big Ben has had some serious allegations against him in the past. So maybe he's not a good person. I'm not going to comment about Big Ben being a good person or a good teammate because A, I was never Big Ben's teammate, and B, I don't fucking know him. But multiple people are apparently saying, I can't wait to say something about this. Finally, Joey Porter said something. It's just, I don't think it made it didn't make him look good. Or doing it on Cam Hayward's platform. Because he still is an active player. And look, James Harrison, I think, broke the original brotherhood. So if Joey Porter Jr. really wants to be mad at somebody, I think he should be mad at James Harrison. But the reason, I said earlier I could side a little bit more with Joey. The reasons I gave you about Big Ben not wanting to develop Mason and the hatred against Kenny, in my opinion, I would have to agree. I would have to say I agree with Joey. I'm not saying everything Joey said was right because I just gave you examples on why I think he was wrong. But maybe Big Ben will say something. And if Big Ben says something and if he responds on his show, oh boy, you guys know I'll be the first one here ready to talk about it. So with that being said, guys, I appreciate you guys being here with me. Thank you, guys. Remember, go follow, subscribe, Sports Jedi Network. We are on the verge of 20,000 subscribers. All pro wrestling content, watch-alongs. We will be live tomorrow, 9 o'clock for TNA, watch-along. Make sure to follow me on all socials, Instagram, Twitter, X, Twitch, Kick, Rumble, at PGHChrisTV. Subscribe to the YouTube channel at PGHChrisTV. Go to Spotify and follow my productions radio show, Crossbody Sports, every Sunday. We did miss this week's episode. This week's episode will be going out tomorrow. All over there on Crossbody Sports Radio, Spotify exclusive. Check that out. Moneyline Mondays will be back Monday, and I'll see you guys in the next show. Peace out, and I might have an announcement on a collaboration soon.